All right. Welcome. And I'm so delighted that you are here. I'm going to play this. And yeah. So welcome to the masterclass, the connection between your story and human design. So before we start, I would like to know who you are and why you are here. And even if you watch this on replay, definitely answer these questions, please. I would love to look at them afterwards. Okay, so, right, so who are you? Thank you, Yasmin. It's wonderful. Let me just do this. Sorry, I'm figuring out the things. Okay, so I want you to know, I want to really to look at later, and I want to know who here knows of human design, who here knows your human design, who here is an author or an aspiring author, who here is an author or aspiring author and know your human design. And I would love to know, why are you here? What would you like to walk away with today? It is my absolute pleasure to share this with you. Just before we go on, just so that you know, who am I? I am, oh, wonderful, Jasmine. And welcome from Canada. So I'm the founder of Soul Purpose Publishing and Coaching. Of course, my name is Dina Marais. I'm a 7-time international best-selling author, the publisher of 4 international bestsellers. I've been a soul-aligned manifesting coach for 20 years, and I am now also a quantum human design transformation coach. And what we will cover in this short masterclass is we're going to look at what is human design. Now, I'm not going to give a human design lesson. It's going to take hours. It's a series, okay? I'm just actually going to show you an overview of what is human design. Then, why is it important to know how our human design energetic blueprints play out, as you will see in my chart as an example, and then some next steps. So what is human design? It's a combination of Eastern and Western astrology. As you can see, the planets here on the side. I don't know if you can, maybe I must, the planets on the side. I'm going to just do this rather, so I can use my cursor that you can see. So these are the planets on the side, and these were the position of the planets when this is 3 months before you were born. And I know there's a crystal and everything. I'm not going to go into that. And this is at the time of your birth, where the planets are. So it's the Eastern and Western astrology. It's the Hindu chakra system. These energy centers are also the chakras. It's the Judaic Kabbalah, the Chinese I Ching. These gates, 64 of them, form the Chinese I Ching. It's also your gene keys, your DNA, and quantum physics. So there are 5 types. These are all archetypes. Everything in the human design is an archetype, okay? And that archetype has got meaning. So there are 5 types in human design. The initiator or manifester. Just shortly, human design versus quantum human design is the same thing. All that happened is that Karen Curry Parker, she developed quantum human design, and she actually developed a higher vibration language for human design as the soul expression. Okay. And I studied with Karen. So it's the initiator or the manifester, the alchemist or the generator, the time bender or manifesting generator, the orchestrator or the projector, the calibrator or the reflector. Now, just this is the main role that you are playing in, if you know your human design. And if you would put a play together, then these were the roles. The manifestor would be the producer of the play. The alchemist and the time bender, the generator, manifesting generator, they are the builders of the set and everything that's needed, the lights, everything. The orchestrator, the projector, is the director of the play, and the calibrator, reflector, is the audience. So, and the numbers, the 9%, 37%, are the number of people in the world who are actually initiators and the different roles. Then everyone has a strategy. So, and the strategy for most, in some or other way, is to wait. Unless maybe the manifestor can directly act because he's get that non-verbal flow, but everybody else need to wait. And then we have an authority. An authority influences your strategy. If you have, I'm not going to, let me just stop there. Otherwise, I'm going to get carried away and off track. And everyone has an emotional theme of, and the one that we don't want is, the emotional themes of frustration and anger, aloneness, bitterness, depletion, disappointment, disconnected, or feeling abandoned by God. These are all the emotional themes that play out if we don't follow our strategy and we don't wait for that response, as you will see in my story. Now, as I said already, the soul purpose is, all the gates and the planets at the time that you were born, and the life purpose side is 3 months before. There are also 12 profiles, okay? 6 lines, and these lines 1, 2, and 3 are what we call intrapersonal lines. That is all about self. And the 4, 5, and 6 is the intrapersonal lines. Those are what we learn in our relationship with others. I just want to see something. Yeah. So if you see the line is every line has got a specific expression or personality. Okay, as you will see in my story when I explain that to you. And as I said, there are 64 gates. All these little numbers everywhere. There are 64 of them, and they are all scattered in a very specific pattern across all the centers. So those are the gates. What it's called in human design is called gates, and but these are your G and A gene keys. So if you follow gene keys, this is that relationship. Okay, any questions? If you have any, oh, Jasmine, you are a pure generator. What are your lines? All right. So why is it important to know this? It shows us that nobody is random. You are here for a reason, and you chose, your soul chose this life, these lessons, this body, your parents, everybody. It is the energetic blueprint of your soul, as I said, that chose to best equip you to fulfill your soul contract in this life. Your life story and what you are struggling with, the lessons are all in your human design. It shows the path to your true self or your soul expression, what that looks like, and as well as your life purpose. And it confirms that your calling is spot on or unfolding depending on your age and your profile. Now, hi Leslie, nice to see you. The main causes of conditioning. And I want to tell you my story, and then as I am going to explain my chart to you, then I want to see if you can follow my story in the human design. Okay? So let me go just here again for a second so you can see the full screen. So my story, I grew up in circumstances of lack, severe lack, and fights about money. There were always lack of some sort, and dissatisfaction, blaming, fighting. It was horrific. Okay. That's so imprinting from your parents, teachers, peers. Imprinting plays a big role of conditioning. So we're looking at conditioning of how the ego and the mind is created. The next one is generational energy patterns. Now, wait, I forgot I wrote this. Now, my generational energy patterns, if I look at my parents, my grandparents, and I think all the generations before them are all generational energy patterns of lack. Okay, surviving, less than, not deserving, not worthy. Okay, there are the other people who are rich. Can't play with them because they don't like me. I'm not like them. That kind of thing. Growing up like that. Then it's, of course, genetics and epigenetics. Genetics, the gene keys, as you will see when I explain my story. Hi, Sherry, nice to see you. As you will see in my story, you know, the gene keys, the unbalanced expressions of the ego, how that affects our genes. It's crazy, our DNA. And of course, epigenetics, our genes change. The beautiful thing is, of course, as we change and we solidify and embody higher expressions and higher frequencies, so do our genes. The next thing that causes conditioning is, of course, our own life experience and our own ignorance and seduction by the mind into believing the mind and live accordingly to the mind, to think we are the mind or the mind is us. And openness by center. So these little blocks here, let me just go. This again. These little blocks here are, we call the centers. These are also based on the human chakras system. So, so we have the head center, and then we have below that the ajna. We have the throat. We have the heart. Now the heart is also the will center. So this is the G center, or the identity center in quantum human design, and this is the will center or the resource center. Then we have the sacral. Actually above the sacral is the solar plexus, and also together with the splenic system, the splenic center, and below is the root. So when these centers are defined, they are colored in, it means that this is what you bring to the world. When they are open, this is what you learn from others. Okay? Just in short. Okay, so, oh wait, where am I now? Okay. Now, conditioning contaminates your filter. We have a filter. I call it conditioning by design. Okay, because if you would look at my story, my chart later, it is absolutely the opposite of what I was born into. And I think that happens to all of us. We are born into a life or circumstances that are quite the opposite of what it is that we are here to learn for our soul's evolution. But conditioning contaminates your filter, and your filter, as you see in this little picture, that's the quantum field. And your filter is, of course, your mind with every, the paradigm, your old paradigm, your default thinking. And of course, all the stories that you have, all the meanings you have, the labels you have, the memories you have, and how you see yourself. What is your self-image? That is the driver, actually, of your mind, how you see yourself and your self-worth. Okay, so conditioning, what we talked about earlier, the imprinting, the genetics, the all of that conditions your filter. In other words, your interface with a quantum field where you have choices, and it's like the algorithm in bloody Facebook. You know, the quantum field then is actually shrinking to give you choices because you have condensed your mind, and whatever is so negative and so low vibration, you cannot create anything anyway. So that's why sometimes we create the same patterns over and over. All right, so that is that. This is what I see by the quantum field. It's just an illustration. And this is our interaction with the quantum field. So our default thinking, that old paradigm, the mind is, in the end, our biggest problem. Okay, so let's go on. Let me just first, sorry, I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so, however, then life, the disruption of our life happens because we need to grow spiritually. So things are planned ahead of time for our lives to be disrupted. And it happens with life events, whether it's a divorce or death or whatever. Any life event. Also, planetary shifts causes disruptions in our lives. Planetary shifts of, you know, Saturn comes first round at around 28 years, then Chiron comes around at 50, then Saturn comes around again at 56. So all these planetary shifts has an impact on our energy, on our disruptions of what happens in our life, so that we can get back on track for our spiritual growth and to fulfill our soul contract. So after the disruption, what happens is that we have, oh, there's somebody here. Oh, wait. Oh, my goodness. There we go. Sorry, somebody's joining me on Zoom. Awesome. Abundance. Hi, Juliana. Nice to have you here with me on Zoom. So,
Hi, hello.
hello. So, as I was saying, then we go into a void. Okay, if that, depending on the kind of disruption, and in that void, we're trying to find our way. We are remapping our way forward. We are deconditioning, and we are changing the stories and meanings. And we also upgrade our self-image and self-worth. And then it's expansion. We integrate a new way of being as like a divine rebirth. This makes me so much thinking about my my book, Divine Rebirth, and we manifest a new reality. And of course, to get out on the other side, the process of deconditioning is that we are rewriting the stories. We are rewriting our stories to embody self-love and self-worth and the awareness beyond the mind. That's when we are in soul alignment. Okay. So in quantum human design or in human design, this is the G center, and everything in the end comes down to self-love, because your G center is also your where your magnetic monopole is situated. That means the attractor. This is the energy that you attract things to you. This is the law of attraction in play in this chakra center in your heart. And of course, the will center just below it also plays a role as your resource center, because your will center or your resource center is the place of your worth. So you've got to embody that self-love, upgrade that, your self-image, so that you love yourself and your self-worth. And of course, we do that by rewriting the stories of self-love, of compassion, of embodiment, allowing, and all of that. And all the other nonsense, I don't want to call it nonsense, but the things that happen in our chart. And I will take you through that now. So we're going to go through my chart. I'm going to tell you a story, and I would love for you to see from what I told you in the beginning of how I grew up and everything, if you can recognize, as I explain all of this to you, in my story. Okay? But before we go on, I just want to ask you, does anyone have questions? Anyone have a question that you would like to ask? Type in the live. At any point, if you do have one, then definitely feel free to ask. I will also ask this at the end of the presentation. Okay, so now my type is a manifesting generator or a time bender. Now, what that means, I just want to make sure that I tell you everything that I wrote down here. So a manifesting generator is like a hybrid between a manifester and a generator. Now, as you know, that a manifester has this. I'm going to do this again that I can explain. Now, as this kind of channel straight to their throat. The throat is the expression of everything. Okay. And the manifestor has this kind of channel. So when they get that non-verbal flow, they act. And the biggest thing for a manifesting generator is to make sure that for the manifestor is that the environment is friendly to their inspiration, because when they get that inspiration, they act, they go. And if people come in their way, then, or it doesn't work out, if someone asks, can I help you? What are you doing? Then the manifestor can explode with anger. And it's not against the person. It's just that there is so much energy that is now disrupted. Okay. So as a manifesting generator, I have that flow, which has been actually my nemesis in my life. I get that inspiration, I get that urge, but I'm not allowed to actually initiate anything. I need to wait. I need to wait that I can respond to something, because that will show me that the universe is aligned. Okay? Okay. I'm going to stop there. So also, the time bender has a lot of speed. Okay? And my role is to find the fastest, easiest way to complete tasks and the experience of self professionally. proficiency. Now, the ego, when the mind comes in, that unbalanced expression of the manifesting generator is struggle with quitting, like a generator type. And when disconnected from the response mechanism of my sacral, then I can create from ideas in my mind and not actually ideas from my from my soul. So I get the ideas in my mind and I go for it. I think it's right. It's let me go. And then I've wasted so much energy with very little return and triggering frustration and anger. I've had so many fights with the universe. And I say, what's going on here? I've done everything. I've got everything. I did this, and there's nothing kind of thing. It's only later when I learned about the waiting. And still, that is still a process for me. Okay, so, but when I'm in my soul, when I has that expression of from my soul, then I am aware of my power and my speed. I'm conscious of who around me will be impacted, and I will inform them. And this is a process, as I say, tuned into my sacral and wait for something to respond to before I leap into action. And this inner alignment brings about so much creative flow. And that brings transformation to the world, okay? So the biggest lesson for me as a manifesting generator is to wait for the next right step and to embrace the inner sense of timing. Okay. Now, my profile is, gosh, I'm sorry, this is taking so much longer than I thought it would be. Now, and it's just my chart here. Okay, so the profile, a 3-5. Now, 3 is a martyr / explorer. In human design, traditional human design is called a martyr, and in quantum, an explorer. And the purpose of the 3 is to explore and experience possibilities and share the experience with others to protect and serve them. The need of the 3 is to experiment and try things. And I do this with everything. I can't help myself. I buy programs because it just sounds so wonderful. I've got to try them. I do that with food. I have to taste everything. I change my lead magnet every now and then. But of course, there's a fear there of making a mistake, of a failure. And the idea is to find out what works and what doesn't. Now, what happens when the ego is involved is to let the process define the success and then out of frustration, quit. No, this doesn't work. Okay, I'll try the next thing. Instead of, as a soul expression, actually tune it, adopt it, tweak it, and find until the right solution is there. Okay? So, of course, as a time bender as well, time benders keep steps. So we see the thing and we jump ahead. And so often have to go back and correct the steps. So as if I do this the right way, as my soul expression, then I embrace the journey of exploration until I find the elegant and efficient solution, because it is my role to actually show others what is the best way, what works and what doesn't work. And my lesson is to learn to trust and trust the learning the process and not judge it. Judge the outcome before I've had enough time to work out all the details. And of course, my intention this year for myself and for all my clients is really to find what is the best and easiest way to grow our businesses. what works. There are so many ideas and gurus and things. I really want to simplify things. I want to find out for myself what works, and I'll share that. Okay. Now the line 5 is the visionary leader or the heretic. And it's to serve as a karmic mirror for others, to support the healing process and turn this reflection by through this reflection by teaching and sharing the highest potential of humanity. So my role is really to teach, to lead, and to inspire. The need of the 5 is to be seen and heard for who you are by people who respect your leadership and wisdom. The drive is to experience, learn, and share the experience. But there's a fear. There's a fear of not being fully, truly seen or heard, subject, and a fear of being subject to false expectation, the fear of being misunderstood and blamed. And this has happened to me, the false expectations and the blaming. So it's real. Now, the ego, if the ego is really taking over, then I would be so afraid that I would hide out. And it has happened too, that I'm this whole thing about, having to wait for divine timing. And then I think, oh my God, it's not coming. It's not coming. And then I don't do anything as well. So it's to really find the balance. But the main thing is to get out of the mind, okay? Because we can really take unhealthy expectations and project that internally. Now, the soul expression is to see what's possible and lead others who are ready towards a way that is inspiring and uplifting. The lesson is not to take perspectives of others personally, and to cultivate a high enough sense of self-worth and value that the unhealthy opinions and expectations of others don't hurt me. And this is for any person in the human design if you have a line 5. Hope this makes sense so far. Can I just say that you're still here? Can you just say something or type something in the chat? Say, hello, I'm still here, I'm listening, I'm watching.
Hi. I'm still here listening and learning, but yeah, it's a lot for me to take in because I'm not familiar with everything in human design, so I'm just listening.
Okay, great. Okay, Leslie's still here. Jasmine is still here. Thank you, Yasmin. Wonderful. Okay, now all I'm going to go still take you through is this top gates here. The 2 top gates is your conscious sun, the conscious earth, the unconscious sun, and the unconscious earth. And together they create your incarnation cross, which I will explain later. But for now, I only want to go through the gates. Now, as you will see, there's a line next to the gate. You see, we have the 3, 5 here. So on the conscious side, your soul purpose side, it's a line 3. So everything that you have expresses itself. Your whole expression is through the gate 20. It's through my gate 20. And a 3 is, of course, experiment. You will see now why this is very peculiar. And then the 5 is the leader, the visionary leader. Okay, so the gate 20 says, the name of the gate 20 is patience. Isn't that ironic? Patience. So patience while experimenting. So the soul expression is to trust intuition, to know what needs to be set in place, the people, the skills that need to be accomplished, and to be ready when the time is right. To trust in the right timing and to heed the intuition to get ready. Now, everything above the timing, I'm perfect at. Okay, I can see what needs to be prepared. I can work out a course in 5 minutes. I know what people, I know all of that. The timing. So the ego says, the ego expression is to act before the time is right. To fail to listen to inner guidance and prepare. To feel the pressure to act before the time is right. And to feel frustrated or to quit. Now, as you can see, my root chakra is open. This is your divine timing chakra. When it's open, I can feel the energy, and I take that energy as pressure to act. Instead of to know, yes, I know, I'm just waiting, I act. Okay, so the lesson, the challenge here is to be patient and conquer the ability to wait. To be prepared and watchful, but resist the urge to act if the timing isn't right, or if there are any details that still need to be readied. Now, as I said, that is my most important gate, that everything is expressed through. It's my life's work in gene keys, and it's a process. Gate 34, this one here, is the gate of power. Now, the soul says it's the ability to respond to opportunities, to unify the right people around a transformative and powerful idea when the timing and circumstances are correct. The ego expression is being too busy to tune into the right timing and the right people. Feeling frustrated with pushing and trying to make things happen, forcing manifestation with little results, depleting yourself because you're pushing too hard. That's me. I am learning. I'm getting there. So, and thank goodness we get older, because this slowing down for me is really starts happening now. Okay? Where I am conscious enough and aware enough of what the pressures are, what am I doing, is this the right thing? No, it isn't, wait. So the lesson here of gate 34 is learn to measure out energy to stay occupied and busy, but not burn yourself out to try and force the timing of a project. Wait to know which project or creation to implement based on something to respond to. That's the other thing that can happen is when the head center is open, we have also the pressure here and with the ajna to figure things out. The mind is not made to figure things out. It can only focus on the known. We need to use our imagination with the mind, not to figure things out. Imagination to create, and then let go and stay aware so that we can be guided. Okay, so that's 34. Now 55 says it's the gate of faith. And the point 5 as a visionary leader is to lead people to have faith. Now, the way I grew up, trusting in God was not an option. Okay? There was just no option. I could never do that. I could never trust God because I believed as a child that God abandoned me. So how could I trust? How could I trust God? So faith is a big thing for me. Not that I don't believe in God, I do, but to believe completely that I am supported. So this gate says the soul expression is the ability to hold an emotional frequency, the vision of that creation is to hold that frequency. And I always teach that is so interesting. Alignment is my passion. To trust in sufficiency so profoundly that you're able to create without limitation. The ego says, the ego expression is indecisiveness, fear or lack, hoarding, keep things from others, fighting to take more than you share, not trusting source, drawing on will to create that force thing again. So the lesson is here to learn to trust source, to know that you are fully supported, to become proficient in the art of emotional alignment as your most creative power. That blew my mind when I read this. Really, it is so me. Now, the gate 59, the last gate that I'm going to talk about, that is the gate of sustainability. Yes, you're right, Jasmine. I couldn't trust myself either. The gate 59, the soul expression says to trust in sufficiency. To trust in sufficiency and to know that when you create abundance, there is a great fulfillment in sharing. I didn't grow up that way. To craft partnerships and relationships to sustain you and the foundation of your lives. And I'm very grateful that I'm there now. The ego says to feel like you have to fight or struggle to survive. To feel the need to penetrate others and force your rightness on them. To let fear and lack cause you to craft relationships and agreements that are unsustainable. And there is an element of this still, and this is an element for everyone, is that we can especially lower our prices, make our what we charge too low, so that we cannot sustain ourselves. So the lesson is to learn to make abundant choices that sustain you and at the same time others, to collaborate and initiate others into sustainable relationships from a place of sufficiency, and to learn to share what you have in a sustainable way. And that's all I want to say about my gates. That's all I would also do. And just the last thing is just going to get that quickly here. The incarnation cross that says the quantum description is to say to explore, learn, and teach about the true nature of power. To embody aligning yourself with divine timing in order to gather people around new ideas that have the potential to create sustainability. To create beyond what you know how to create by cultivating deep faith and trust in abundance. To use faith as a way of seeding the quantum field. To know how to read the signs and engage with the world in such a way that you know when it's time to respond to what's needed to create abundance for all. To organize people around new ideas and convictions that support the work and creation necessary to help people create sustainable, abundant resources and peace. So our souls are amazing in putting us in situations that we really have to work at fulfilling our soul contract so that our soul can expand. I just want to see what Juliana says, yes, me too. I don't know about human design. Okay. Faith for me is big as well. What's the difference of generation keys versus human design? Gene keys is your DNA. Generational patterns is past generations, but gene keys is also based on human design, but it has taken, it's my pleasure, Leslie, it has taken parts of it to create a different kind of configuration. Now, I just want to quickly show everyone that is still watching here. So if you love the stories and how the power of story and how our stories as we grow and evolve, how we actually change our stories. Isn't it amazing? And that is, for me, is the power of the stories in the books. So for example, the Divine Rebirth is so typical of spiritual awakening, surrender, and rebirth. And so these are some next steps I want to give as some offers. If you feel that, you believe in your power, the power of your story and how you have evolved, this is a great book to tell that in. And there are 3 options. And if you join, you will receive a free chapter in Miracles on normal. And as a bonus, if you join Divine Rebirth, you will receive 50% off. Oh, I must just put here off the Quantum Human Design Mini Reading. And then there's, of course, Miracles are normal. This is 88 stories. You have a choice between 800 words and 1600 words. Miracles are normal. And on both these books, if you haven't joined them and you want to join them, I can give you a 30% off. And of course, this is the program if you want to write your solo book to work with me. It's a year program. And lastly, a Quantum Human Design Mini Reading to discover the connection between your story and human design and your human design. And that's it. Wow, I've been talking for about 45 minutes. I have, or 50 minutes. I struggled a bit in the beginning with the technology. So how has this been for you? What are you taking away? Oh, great, Jasmine. I'm so glad you joined. And yeah, beautiful. I'm so excited to read your story. Anybody from Jasmine or Juliana that's still here? If you have anything that you're taking away or that you learned that resonated with you?
So what I'm understanding and what I know, because I do soul planning and geometry and numerology, I'm understanding that the quantum human design and gene keys is correlated to the chapters of our books, is what you're basically saying, and that certain information can surface when writing. Is that what I'm?
Yes, you will
Okay.
find it. You will definitely find that as you grow through your life and how you help people, and before you actually have like a spiritual awakening or a transformation, is that how you express that is in the design, how you grow. And I also see the oh, thank you, Jasmine. I also see the ego expression of every archetype and the soul expression on a continuum, and that we are evolving and we are actually moving along, especially if we are intentional and we are waking up, we are consciously starting to, you know, to favor our awareness, if I can put it that way, and see how our own stories change over time as we evolve as a soul, as our soul evolves. So yes, you will find that if you can go and look at what you wrote before and what you want to write now is, I think for everyone, I can see that in the stories that I've written, in all the books so far, it is definitely a reflection of where I was in my soul development, and that is reflected in my human design. Absolutely. Does that make sense, Juliana?
Yes, thank you for that explanation.
Great. Okay, so Yasmin says you kept my interest, and that's hard to do. Thank you. It was all very informative and inspirational. Thank you so much. And I will now, of course, when we're done here, I will going to download this and I will upload this in our group. Thank you for watching. I so appreciated that you were here. And if there are any questions, please ask. I am very willing and happy to answer you. Thank you, Jasmine. Have a wonderful day further. You too, Juliana.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.